Hello there, Jerry Cates here. Jerry Cates here for Empowered Women Live, my weekly offering to help empower you. And we've been doing a 5-week series on healthy boundaries. Tonight, I'm going to finish off the series with What If They Don't Like Me? Releasing People Pleasing for Good. So, hashtag live if you're watching this live. Hey, Keisha, we're doing healthy boundaries. What if they don't like me? Releasing people pleasing for good. So, hashtag live if you're here live. And if you're here for the replay, hashtag replay. I would love to know, who saw this and your key takeaway. So, all right, so let's talk about this. Have you ever said yes when you really wanted to say no just to avoid disappointing someone? Ever done that? Do you struggle to set boundaries because you're afraid others are afraid of how others will react? Right? Do you hold back because you know, I don't want them blowing up. I don't want them getting upset. Right? Do you do that? Do you wish you could stop seeking approval and start making choices that feel right for you? Right? Because isn't that what this is? This boundary thing or lack of boundary thing? In some ways, it's about seeking approval, right? We don't want to upset them. We want them to like us. And then, like I said, what if they don't like me? So let's just take a breath and unpack a little bit here about the boundaries. So it's just you and me, right? I want to give you an opportunity to take an honest look at yourself because as you identify it, you can start to do something about it, right? It brings awareness to it. So if you said yes to any of those questions, people pleasing is a habit of so many of us. So that's what it is. It's people pleasing. And it actually it keeps us stuck in exhaustion, resentment, and relationships we never feel fully seen in. So we're gonna free you up from that. So, but let's talk a little bit about the last 4 weeks because I want to invite you to go back and listen to those videos. They're in the guide section of this group, and it's called the 5-week boundaries, healthy boundary series. I think it's healthy boundary series. Anyway, week 1 we talked about overcoming guilt, how to say no without feeling bad. How to say no without feeling bad. If that's you, put yes in the chat. Yes. Or just put a heart. Yeah. Just put some love on it. And then week 2, I don't want to let anyone down. How to say no without feeling, oh wait, that's the first one. How to honor your limits. I don't want to let anyone down. So then we talked about how to honor your limits. And week 3, I'm afraid they'll be upset. Oh, walking on eggshells, want to keep them happy, right? So we came back with that, with how to handle pushback with confidence. That was a really powerful video. And that was week 3. I'm afraid they'll be upset, how to handle pushback with confidence. So last week, week 4, they rely on me too much. How to stop being the fixer. Fixers in the audience, where we don't want to let go of their life, right? We fix everything. We don't have to deal with our own life if we're busy fixing everyone else, and then we're exhausted, right? I want to inspire you to get to a place of freedom in your life where you don't have these things bugging you. And it's possible. It's possible. So this week we're going to get to the root of people pleasing. And if you've ever felt like you had to earn love, acceptance, or approval by being agreeable, always saying yes, or avoiding conflict at all costs, then this session is for you. It'll be a game changer. Okay, so listen up. Hey, Terry, Keisha, glad you're here, ladies. Thank you. Okay, so what's the main problem here? Feeling like you have to say yes to keep the peace. Done that. Fear of being disliked, judged, or rejected. Oh, okay, yes, sure. You know, um, yeah. And then constantly prioritizing others over yourself leads to burnout and resentment. You get resentful. And then thing is that we're doing it. We're, saying yes, not having boundaries. We get burned out and get resentful. It's one way of showing up with it. So that's a problem. That's a problem. Who wants to live with resentment? No, we want to live in a positive vibration, right? And we want to consciously choose that positive vibration. But the big problem here is people pleasing leads to inauthentic relationships, exhaustion, and the loss of self identity because you're shaping yourself around what others want instead of honoring your own needs. See, that's really the big problem here, and it's huge. So, what's the solution? Shifting from external validation to self trust. So you can set boundaries and make choices based on what's right for you instead of out of fear of rejection. So you feel that shift that I can make choices out of what's right for me, right? I'm not all caught up in all the emotion of, oh, what if they don't like me? Or, yeah, or, right? So what the big solution is shifting from external validation to self-trust. So you can set boundaries and make choices based on what's right for you, not out of fear of rejection. That was just so worth saying again. That's so powerful. So this talk is for you. If you struggle to say no because you don't want to upset people, or you put others' needs ahead of your own, even when it drains you, then this talk is for you. This talk is for you if you feel anxious when someone disappoints or is disappointed or mad at you, right? You feel anxious, you feel bad, right? So, what you're about to discover is why people pleasing keeps you stuck in unhealthy patterns. You see that? People pleasing keeps you stuck in unhealthy patterns. It's really important to know that. And you'll discover how to build self trust so you no longer need external approval, right? We're not looking outside ourselves, we're looking within. It's an inside job, ladies. It's an inside job, okay? And then a simple script. I got this really cool script. If you don't have something to write with, go ahead and get it because you're going to need it. It's a simple 3-line script that you can practice and you can use when you want to set a boundary. So stick around. But a simple way to say no without fear of rejection. So my little story is, I grew up in my mom was abusive and controlling, and it was hard to, or my mission in life was to try to keep ahead of it, super hyper vigilant, trying to keep ahead of it, always walking on eggshells, super people pleasing. You see the theme I'm making here. And then as it went on in relationships and it also went on in career, I chose to be a nurse. Now, I'm not saying all nurses are people pleasers, but I'm saying that a lot of people who there's a lot of trauma in us nurses. I mean, we've been through things, um, and we are people pleasers. The key is to find the balance. There's a lot of burnt out people in the medical fields or the caring fields because it's out of balance. They're overgiving. They're not taking care of themselves, and that's the point. We didn't learn to take care of ourselves. We had to put others first, and for whatever reason, for me, it was trying to keep ahead of it. To keep out of trouble. And can you see how you can carry that over to your adulthood, right? Trying to keep ahead of it so I could keep out of trouble. That was a kid trying to survive. And although I don't have to survive that way anymore, but I might be setting it up like that, right? Still being a people pleaser after I don't have to be anymore, right? So we'll give you some tools. All right. Um, but let me just say that prioritizing myself, putting myself first, and here's what helps. I say this to myself all the time. Show up as a woman who's loved. How would I treat myself if I showed up as a woman who is loved? I would consider my needs, right? I would take care of that meditation I've been putting off, or those daily rituals that I said I was going to do, right? I'll take a bite out of that if I show up as a woman who's loved and supported, right? Right. Okay. So we're back to people pleasing now. Let's talk about this. People pleasing, the point is, people pleasing might feel like it's keeping relationships strong, but it's actually creating resentment, exhaustion, and abandonment. The biggest problem is saying yes when you don't want to leads to the burnout and resentment. And then you attract relationships where your needs aren't considered, right? We create the relationships we have, consciously or unconsciously. Let's get conscious about it, right? So you attract relationships where your needs aren't considered. If I'm in a relationship where I'm people pleasing and always taking care of everyone else and not myself, I'm not even an option, right? I wouldn't even know how to receive the support. Okay, so, but we create those relationships. I can't express that enough. How you show up and what you accept and the boundaries you set creates and shapes those relationships. So take a step back and look at your relationships. Look at your 5 most important relationships. And what part can you take responsibility for? Because that's the part you can change. That's the part you can change in that people pleasing. Um, and then you struggle with self trust because you're constantly trying to please others. And yeah, you know what that feels like? Where you're so busy pleasing everyone else. And then part of it is that we're not even, like I said, an option. So we don't take care of ourselves. That's a skill to learn. That is a skill to learn to take care of yourself. If you've been conditioned and have the habit of not taking care of yourself and taking care of everyone else, it's a skill to learn. But you have the capacity to learn the skill, to put yourself first. Here's the other one. And this is from Catherine Woodward Thomas, and I love this. I live by it. Take care of yourself well enough so that you can take care of others from your overflow. Take care of yourself well enough so you can take care of others from your overflow. And I digress. So we're talking about the cost of people pleasing. And I gave you some little nuggets there on how to shift from that. But let's get back to this. Saying yes when you don't want to, I said it leads to burnout. And then you attract the relationships that aren't where you're not considered, your needs aren't considered. And we struggle with self trust. And the solution is recognizing that pleasing everyone is impossible. It's not your job. When I wanted to be a nurse, oh man, I was going to save the world. I didn't like come out and say those words, but I have this big vision. I'm going to save the world. So I went and volunteered for rape crisis domestic violence shelter for the organization, and I learned that I can't save the world, but I can change the world one person at a time, and it starts with me, right? So if you're a people pleaser or you have this thing or you're going to save the world, you can empower the world. You can change it by one person at a time. But having this big idea of, I'm going to save the world, it's too big and it's not my job, right? It's that recognizing that pleasing everyone isn't possible and it's not your job. So recognizing this, what happens is you start to have how about this? Healthier, mutually respectful relationships, mutual respect, no yelling, no saying mean things. All the words that come out of each other's mouth is loving and respectful. Imagine that. It's possible. And then more energy and confidence with decision making because you feel more authentic and more yourself. The ability to say no without guilt or over explaining. Do you over explain, like tell them no and give them the reason, and then they use the reason against you? That's when at the end of the script, the instructions are then be quiet, then be quiet. So that's a skill. That's a skill. So simple action step. Write down a recent situation where you wanted to say no, but you didn't, and what stopped you. You wanted to say no, just think about it, for a moment. A recent situation where you said yes, but you wanted to say no. And why did you say yes? Why didn't you say no? Well, see, and this is real important because you can look at what went through my mind. Was I people pleasing? Was I didn't want rejection? So naming it's really powerful because you can figure out how to heal it, how to turn it around, how to complete it. All right. Now let's talk about rewiring your brain for self-trust. Like I said before, people pleasing is a habit. One you can break by shifting from seeking external validation to trusting yourself. You got to be your own best cheerleader. Yeah. The biggest problem associated with this point is fear of rejection. Fear of rejection keeps you stuck in the people pleasing cycles because it's what you know. And your sense of worth is tied to how others perceive you. You're looking outside yourself, looking outside yourself. And you doubt your own needs, wants, and decisions. You can't, how can you create from that? So, what's the solution? Building self trust by validating your own choices, needs, and boundaries before seeking approval from others. So, this is a practice. Validating your own choices, needs, and boundaries. What is it I want? What do I need? In Feminine Power, we have this one exercise where you ask yourself, what are you feeling? I'm feeling sad. I can see that you're feeling sad. What are you feeling? I'm feeling afraid. I can see that you're feeling afraid. So you're saying this to yourself, you're naming it, I'm feeling sad, and then you're witnessing it, you're holding space. I can see that you're feeling sad. We're not trying to fix it, we're just holding space because this is part of letting go of the old stuff, right? The things that hold you down. Um, Knowing what your needs are, and I've told this story before, and I'll be real quick. So my son was running amok and getting in trouble, and I was a mess crying all the time. This is about in 2014, 13, 14, somewhere in there. And my husband asked me, Hunters, what do you need? I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know what I needed. And I certainly wasn't thinking about what I needed. It took me a day or so to come up with what I needed, and then another day or so to ask for it. And it was his idea. So that's how deep these go about not being worthy of receiving, right? So anyway, what I wanted was him to hold me and let me cry. And he didn't really usually like holding or me crying. He liked holding me. He didn't like me crying, but he just opened up and we laid on our bed. And the louder I cried, the deeper his embrace. That's how powerful it is when you're clear about what it is you need, right? You can actually get what you want when you're clear about what you need. So where am I with this on rewiring your brain? Let's make sure we don't miss anything good. So the biggest problems, fear of rejection, your sense of self-worth is tied to others and how they perceive you, and you doubt your own words and wants and desires, and then building trust, validating your own choices, needs, and boundaries. And that's how I got on that, is that validating what is it you need? What do you need? I need safety. I can see that you need safety. What do you need? I need connection. I can see that you need connection. I'm just holding space. Very powerful exercise. Very powerful. Because you get those needs, you're able to name them. Because look at there I was with my husband. I couldn't name it. I didn't feel worthy of having my needs met. Anybody ever feel like that? I have. So asking yourself, what do I need? What do I need? I need love. I need support. What do I need? So, the solution, validating your own choices, needs, and boundaries. And it helps you be more confident in making decisions. There's a freedom from needing constant approval, the ability to set boundaries with ease. What do I need? I'm setting my boundary. I need to take care of me first. And then I can give to others from my overflow. That's what I need. Yeah. All right. Okay, so here's a simple action step. Before making a decision this week, I'm going to invite you to pause and ask yourself, what do I truly want here, regardless of how others feel? See, it gives yourself permission, right? What do I truly want here, regardless of how others feel? What do I want? And if you haven't given yourself permission to have what you want, I'm inviting you to, right? I love what Claire says. Claire Zammit from Feminine Power. We give ourselves permission to be brilliant and imperfect at the same time. Take that on, right? It's okay to stumble, right? We're brilliant and imperfect. Give yourself credit for being as brilliant as you are, right? And you're probably more brilliant than you can even imagine, right? Yeah. All right. So the last content. So the last simple action step. What do I truly want here, regardless of how others feel? And the last content point I want to talk about is boundaries with confidence script. This is a powerful, clear way to say no without guilt or fear. Now, the biggest problem associated with this is you feel uncomfortable setting boundaries, especially with loved ones. I know. Or you struggle to find the right words. I'm going to help you with that. You second guess your decisions after saying no. Oh, have you ever experienced that where you said no and then you just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? Yes. So what's the solution? Using this boundaries with confidence script to firmly and kindly say no. So the three parts of it are acknowledge and appreciate, state your boundary, close the conversation. You ready? I really appreciate you thinking of me. I can't take this on right now. I hope it works out for you. Thanks for understanding. You think you could do that? I'm telling you, write it down, go practice in the mirror, say it like 10 times. I'm not kidding. Say it like 10 times. So you start to build this neural pathway of it, and then you will know what to say. You're setting that boundary. Of all of the things that we've talked about, learning and practicing this could be a life-changing tool for you. Imagine how much anxiety and anguish you can let go of by not giving in all the time, right? By having a way out, right? And I want to invite you to take care of yourself well enough so that you feed others from your overflow. You could still be the giving person that you are and the loving and nurturing person, but get it in alignment so that you're really powerful, right? So that you're not all burnt out or feeling resentment or whatever it is. So this simple, I acknowledge and appreciate. I really appreciate you thinking of me. I can't take it on right now. My plate is too full. something like that. I hope it works out for you. And thanks for understanding. And so, and here's it. Don't forget this. This is like the most important thing. Thanks for understanding. And then stop talking. Now you're going to want to go explain why you can't do it or what you got going on or whatever. They're not listening. Oh, well, they are. They're gathering information to use back to get what they want. It's human nature, right? So yeah, that's why it's really important there. It's just a sweet thanks for understanding. Or I really appreciate your understanding. Just something just real sweet and sincere, and start being that, right? Being appreciative of their understanding, even if they're not there yet. It's kind of like one of those metaphysical things, or you treat people how to treat you. This is you treating people, teaching people how to treat you. This is you doing that. Really powerful stuff. So yeah, acknowledge and appreciate. State your boundary. Close the conversation. No more over explaining or justifying, less anxiety. Oh, this is what you get out of it. So here you go. No more over explaining or justifying. Like I said, isn't that wonderful that you don't have to do that anymore? Less anxiety about how others will react. I mean, how much time have you spent? I'll ask myself, have I spent in my life having anxiety about how others reacted or will react, right? If I say no, and then feeling in control of your own time and energy. A lot of times when women come into this group, they want peace of mind, they want freedom. This is what I'm talking about. This is how you create peace of mind in your life. This is how you create freedom. It took a lot of work to get where you are, and some of the energy was spent on habits that didn't serve you, right? Poor boundaries, things like that. Focusing your energy on what you want to create is so powerful. Knowing that in every moment you have a choice on how you want to show up, how you want to care for yourself, how you want to care for others, how you want to set boundaries so that you do have that time and that energy, and you're not burnout and resentful, right? Let's just paint that beautiful picture. More time, peace in relationships, um, your relationships are reflecting how you're showing up, right? There's mutual respect, there's good communication, no hitting below the belt, that's mutual respect. There's there's an unconditional like love, there's a compassion for each other and an empathy, for each other. Because these people in your life, like your family, it's going to take some time. We really trained them well, right? And when you shift, when you change, they change because what they're doing no longer works. Do you understand that? But it's needing a soft stop, right? You're not yelling, you're not going there. You're learning to do it in a calm way that's grounded and focused on you, right? I love that vision of feeding others from your overflow. It's almost like I'm a water fountain or the fountain of life here, and I'm filling up that fountain, that tube, and then it's coming out. So I'm taking care of this body, mind, and spirit, and then from my overflow, I get to be about love. I get to show up with understanding. I can set a healthy boundary because I have the bigger picture of me and my resources. So, yeah, all right. Okay, I think that's it. But what did we talk about? A lot, huh? Did I do the simple action step? Okay, yeah. So try the script. Just try the script. Try declining. Check in with yourself. If it doesn't feel good, then try that script and go say it in the mirror 10 times so that you have it in your neural track started, um, to be laid. It's available. I like to say it's in your tool belt, right? You have it at the ready. So we talked about the cost of people pleasing, how it creates burnout and unhealthy relationships, Those relationships are a reflection of how we show up, and we wiring your brain for self-trust, shifting from external validation to confidence in your own choices. Yes, yeah, that beats, that constant going back. It's like I'm confident in my own choices. I can let go of that chatter. And the boundaries with confidence script, which is a simple way to say no without guilt. Like I said, go practice it so that it comes right off of your tongue there. All right. Let's see what I got for you this week. So I'm doing this. I don't even know what I'm calling it, but I made a little landing page. So it's a transformation experience. I'm combining hypnotherapy and feminine power, women-centered coaching, transformational practices in this opportunity to help you identify what's holding you back, what's the internal story, I'm not enough, I'm invisible, will help you identify that and then turn that around to what you want to create. So it's a process and it's an hour. I have two dates. It's it's next Wednesday, I think the 26th. I didn't get the dates in front of me, but it's also Sunday morning. So I did two dates, one evening and one daytime. Here's the catch. Only 6 people can come. So if I get more than 6 people, I'll put it on a waiting list. And I already have a few people that want to do this process of stepping into their power. There's no replays because this is an experience that I really want you to show up for yourself in, right? So it's a practice in showing up for yourself. You're going to show up with me and others, and it's limited to 6 because it's like we're going to have a powerful container, right, for growth. Anyway, let's see. Well, so what's the outcome? That you identify that limiting belief and have a shift in how you approach it, right? That you're aware of it, and now you have the opposite. We're going to create power statements, and power statements are better than affirmations. They resonate deeper, right? Because a power statement comes out of that deep need. I'm not enough. I'm more than enough to be loved just as I am, right? So you see the shift. If I'm feeling like I'm not enough, first of all, it's naming the feeling. I mentioned naming, it was really important. And we have a process where you can do that, whatever that is for you. I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, I'm invisible. There's a bunch of things. But naming it and and recognizing it and then shifting it to what you want to experience. So powerful. So if you're interested in this, let's see, what should we call this? Breakthrough. It's a breakthrough class. So it's an hour breakthrough class, and there's afterward a half hour of question and answers. That way you can leave on the hour if you want, and believe me, you'll get so much out of it. Um, anyway, so that's happening next Wednesday, and then March 2nd. Um, Always open for a clarity call. If you have trouble with boundaries and you want to have a conversation that matters, we could do a clarity call, help you set up a plan that you can start practicing healthier boundaries, right? What else? Oh, confidence catalyst. I know I'm telling you too much. Checking the time. Confidence catalyst. So I made this PDF called the Confidence Catalyst, and there's 5 ways to ignite your mind, or what is it? 5 ways to shift your inner power. It's nice reading and everything, but it's also got a printout that summarizes the 5 steps and then a tracking sheet so that you can actually print it and use it. Because so many times people, they download the tools and don't use them. Well, I don't want to, print all that color, right? It's all beautiful and everything. But here's the thing. There are 5 powerful tools that you can use to ignite your confidence, that you can improve your confidence. So type confidence in the chat if you want to try one. You don't have to do them all. Just pick one and do it for a week and see what shifts. I promise you, you'll have a shift. Anyway, so there we have it. Thank you for staying with me, Keisha and Terry and Laura. Hello, and thank you for staying. I saw you a little bit ago. So tell me your key takeaways. Is this, I put a survey up in the group and tagged everyone to ask you to what area do you want content in? You know, what areas, confidence, peace of mind, relationships, you know, I'm looking for feedback so that I bring you the value you need to take it to the next level. All right. Have a lovely evening. Again, thank you for staying. I'm Jerry Cates. Bye now.